welcome to Brown Sugar Confessions, everyone. We are so excited to have you here. As you can see, if you're watching us on YouTube, which you should be, we
And
have Tank and Ellez with us. So before we get started and everything, we want to check in with everyone, and then we're going to get into this because we got some things to talk about. How are you doing, Miss KD?
Hello, I am doing absolutely fabulous. I'm really excited about today's show. Let me tell you, this is sounding like this is going to be fun. So I cannot wait. Weather here, because since our leader, like if you notice, we are missing our leader. Since she's not here, let's talk about the weather. It has been a beautiful day.
She's not here to stop us this time.
It's been a beautiful day. It was like 70 degrees. I went for a great walk this morning. I am definitely in a good mood. Yes, yes.
Glad to hear that. How are you doing, Miss T?
Man, listen, it's been cold down here. Like, I think fall has finally decided to park on Atlanta, and I'm not with it because today I had to go get my battery changed. So, me and my mechanic is sitting outside in the parking lot, and it's like light rain, windy. But you know what made me feel better? You know what warmed up my heart
What?
What's
just a
that?
little bit?
Ooh,
This magical spiked mohawk on Sir Tank's head.
look
But
at
I could
that.
not have asked.
It's his
I
signature.
know. I could not have. I
I
could not
love
have
it.
asked for a
Thank
better
you, thank you.
transition. So get ready, y'all. I hope you got your drinks. We're getting into it on this
Oh,
show. All right. It's gonna get live, and I've been looking forward to this show for about like 2.5, 3 weeks.
Cheers.
Let's
cheers.
go.
Cheers.
So cheers. So with us, we have Tank and Els, the founders of Carnivale Risque, have been in the business of fetish, entertainment, and education for over 10 years. They actively promote, encourage, and educate on how to delve into one's kinks and BDSM lives in a safe and accepting manner. Tank is just shy of his PhD.
Woo!
He is breaking ground with his research on the neurological response of BDSM activities and its effect on PTSD, and his desire to educate is his passion, which can be seen in any of his classes, workshops, or lectures.
Ooh.
Yay.
Excuse me.
Ooh.
Els, Els, say it
Yes,
again.
you got
Yes.
it.
Els is known for her astonishing look and outfits, amazing altures featuring CUNTseeme. I need to know more about that, please.
Hmm.
CUNTseeme.
And the best damn spanking you've ever received. Els is one of the primary players and the goddess of Carnival Risque. I
Yes, she
am
is.
like, I don't even have nothing else to say. Let's go.
All right. Well, before we get into our conversation with Els and Tank, we got to talk about something that's been kind of floating around social media for the longest. And I finally got to see some of the memes, and it's freaking hilarious. Okay. Who has heard of girl math and boy math?
It's definitely been
Yes.
going around for sure.
Yes, it is a thing. So, if you're not familiar with how or what it is, so this concept, we're going to start with girl math. Girl math was a little light. So, girl math is the concept that is what is happening is people trading jokes with each other about things that women might do. So I know Tank had a example of girl math earlier. What was it? Essentially, like if it's under $5, it's free.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Yes.
Or if you're paying cash, it's free.
Like another one might be spending enough to get free shipping is girl math.
That was a good one.
There's another one that says like recognizing that if you wear a cute outfit but no one important saw it and you did get a picture, you didn't really wear that outfit.
Oh.
You know,
that
that's
sounds
true.
mathematically sound to
It
me.
is.
Seriously.
That does. That- I
So of
cheers
course,
to that one.
that, of course, out of girl math, here comes boy math. An example of boy math. Boy math is wanting the traditional wife, but calling you a gold digger because he has to provide.
Oh no, I saw one of the boy maps. If you only have 3 pairs of socks and you're worried about a gold digger,
Yes. That makes perfect sense.
You have to think about that one first. Okay.
I like that one. I like that. If you only have 3 pairs of socks, what are you worried about?
That.
Seriously.
And of course, everything blooms into its own thing. So now there's queer math, there's gay math, there's lesbian math, there's like black math, there's white math, there's Mexican math. So if you go around and just dig up math on social media, something's going to pop up. So have fun with that.
Thanks, Miss T. Another rabbit hole for me to go down.
Another rabbit hole?
Yes.
You need another one.
Yes, the rabbit holes are great. You have to have rabbit holes. That's how we keep the social media monster fed. It's how it works around here. But let's go ahead and get into our conversation with the Tank and Ellez from Carnivale Risque. So let's
talk about it.
Yes, let's
talk about us.
Let's talk about y'all. Yes. First of all, we gotta talk about this lovely getup you got, because I want to know straight off the bat. Just go ahead and get out of the way. How did you get that spike mohawk on your head? Is it?
Oh, it's all screwed in.
What?
No, it's double-sided carpet tape.
You can find it.
I was about to laugh and say, "Oh, he's so funny," but then I was like, "Wait a minute."
But he might be serious. That's what I thought. I was like, how? Like, are there dermals? Like, what is happening?
No.
We went through a series of glues, and we found out after hosting many parties and him sweating and all that stuff, double-sided carpet tape is the one that will hold through a whole party.
Yes, you wouldn't think so, but when we tried the super glue, the removal of skin that went with it, valuable lesson.
So definitely double-sided carpet tape, and it's not bad for your skin, so it doesn't irritate or anything, and it stays put.
Excellent.
Nice.
That's good to know. So let's go ahead. We're gonna get right into it. So first question, because you are all new to us, but you're not new to our superhero Doc Val. So how did you meet her?
Doc Val. We met Dr. Val on Bliss Cruises. We were on our first or second sailing, which has got to be about 6 or 7 years ago. And I knew some of Dr. Val's work, and I was fangirling or fanboying or fanqueering, whatever gender you want to use. And so we had the opportunity to introduce ourselves. And since that time, we've formed a pretty solid relationship, as Dr. Val is one of the better BDSM players I personally have ever seen.
Ooh.
Our Dr. Val.
We were both teaching a spanking class on that same sailing. So that's how I noticed her. I'm like, oh, who else is teaching a spanking class? And then we met, and her energy, like it's been a nice ride.
Yeah.
Getting to know her.
Yeah.
And then we saw her again at a LV event in South Beach.
Ooh.
So that was another time we encountered her.
We've managed to speak to her on the phone and Facebook. Not Facebook.
I feel like Exotica. How many years ago?
Exotica. Oh my gosh, yes. At Exotica.
This was 12 sailings ago.
So there's 2 sailings a year.
For those of us who don't know what Exotica is, can you explain it to us?
Exotica is considered one of the premier sex expos. They host everything from porn stars that you can meet and greet and get pictures from. Cam girls are a big part of it. There is vendors of all kinds of sex toys. There are classes that go on there.
Yeah, sex educators, BDSM educators.
A pole dance competition is part of it.
They do have a dungeon set up, so if you guys have never played in that realm, they do have a dungeon set up where you can go and explore. So that's our favorite part of Exotica.
We get to draw them in. Come try this.
Like, come do this. It'll be great.
Yes.
Just put yourself. Just do like this, and we'll put your hands up, and green is yes and red is no, and then you just go.
That's it. Ellez prefers as opposed to hands up. She prefers bent over.
Oh, so it's like, okay, just bend over this way, and we'll do.
There you are.
Yeah. And allow me to show you.
I dig it. So, quick question. So, what about you guys? So we know how you met Doc Val, but what is your origin story and/or villain story? How did you get into what you do?
Ooh.
I'll let you begin. She tells this story much better than I do, but I'll chime in when it's necessary.
So back in 2011 or 10, I used to work at a store called Fetish Factory. It's a store located in Fort Lauderdale, and they throw a party once a month. So between helping our clients in the store and then partying with them once a month, we built, a nice friendship or a relationship with the people that came in there. And he was one of the guys that would come in and
Buy nothing.
he didn't fit in anything, but he would bring his girls and buy them, their looks, their wigs, corsets, and I would be the girl that would help them in their service. And then throughout 2 years of like getting to know each other and like the monthly parties and stuff, we kind of flirted and
Spoke. Actually, I didn't fit in anything in there, but I do suffer from PTSD, which is what's driving my research. So when I would go in there, just talking to her for those 5 to 10 to 12 minutes, it was a really nice energy. So just the energy helped me to exhale in that store for that little bit of time.
I made him smile and feel good.
It was really nice. And then,
but at the time, he had a girlfriend, I had a girlfriend, and we weren't really like. It was just like
I was available.
The energy, you felt the energy, but it never really happened. I wasn't. He did try for those 2 years. He did try to invite me to like football games, basketball games, Blue Martini, and all these things. And like we're 20 years apart. And at the time, I was much younger. He used to intimidate me, and I had a girlfriend at the time, and I'm just like, what am I going to talk to this man about? Like look at him. And plus, I used to watch him play at these parties, and the way he used to play, I used to just like in awe watching him play. Every time the stage was empty at these parties, he would go up there and bring these girls on stage and like do shows, but really it was him playing. And so it was a very intimidating thing. But after 2 years, I became single. He became single. Obviously, through the 2 years, he had my number. We had each other's numbers, and I decided to like have a random night after being single. I start scrolling on my phone, and I see his text, and I'm like, this is pretty random.
Wait, before you go any further, I have to ask: did it happen towards the end of the year?
Yes, it did.
Actually,
you know what that means? You know what that means?
What does that mean? Tell me.
Cuffing season. You cuffed Tank.
Well, yes.
So,
I think it was a hunter moon.
So I messaged him, and like to me, ever since I graduated from high school, like I've kind of been my own boss. So like Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday, it's kind of the same day. It's not like, oh, the weekend's here. No. So I text him on a random Tuesday night. It's 10:30 p.m. and I text him, and I'm like, hey, what's up?
So at 10:30 p.m. on a Tuesday in hunting season.
I didn't think nothing of it. I was not, but he, after 2 years of trying to get to me and me like, he...
Hold on. So she's terrible with her telephone. Terrible. So for 2 years, she never saved my name next to my number.
So every time he would text me, I would say, Who is
this? And I'm like,
oh no.
I've been coming to see you. Who is this every time? So finally, that Tuesday at 10:30,
He got me back.
the text came through, and I went, "Who's this?"
No, but you gotta tell it right. He did the dance. He was like,
Oh,
"Oh
yeah.
shit!"
Hey, it's 10:30.
And then he texted, "Who is this?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like you've been texting me? It's me, Ellez." And so he noticed that for those times that he invited me, like I turned him down, and it was kind of like 101 things. And he's like, "Okay, I've seen her at the parties. She loves women, obviously. She is all over them, and like
Still interested in me.
Yeah, so I asked him, "What are you doing tonight?" And he had no plans.
No.
But he goes and texts me. He goes, "I'm going to a strip club. Wanna come?" Because he knew, that I love women. So he's
Smart.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's dark. There's music. You don't really have to converse too much.
if anything gets awkward, there's
Stuff to look at.
Other things to do. Yes.
So I was like, okay. I dragged these conversations from 10:30 p.m. to midnight. And finally he goes like, "Okay, give me your address. Are we going or not?" And then like it just became so real, and I was like, "Okay, let's do this." I gave him my address, and he goes, "It's 20 minutes." So I like jump up, get dressed. I put my little black dress on, the hair, and we went out. And I used to be super shy around him. And after a whole bottle of what?
Tequila. No,
No,
it was vodka.
It was vodka.
Just kidding you. It was
I was
grape
drinking
juice.
vodka in front of him like it was juice because I was so nervous. And
no.
so the little shy girl went from that to like this whole
Thing.
monster thing that stole his soul and made him fall in love.
That was it.
But long story short, he could have taken advantage that night, and he didn't. He actually took care of me. And he was a super gentleman. And like I woke up the next day, and I was like, "Wait, we didn't." And you could have, and instead he took care of me. And so like that's how like Daddy was born in my life. Because he showed me a true gentleman, and he's like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this right, and it's not gonna be crazy, sloppy, drunk, So that's how Daddy was born in my life.
And daddy is a term used in BDSM, just like mommy is. So that is a desire to take care of someone. I was older, she's younger. I've been around the world. I've done a lot of things. She hadn't done so many things. So it was my responsibility as her daddy to set her up for success. Now, that didn't mean I was there to tell her what to do. I mean, I do.
I mean, as a dom, that's a different side.
Different.
But a daddy is there to nurture, be a soft place to land, allow the other person to go make their mistakes or not, but still be here for that person. So that's the daddy role.
Yes.
That he took in my life.
Okay, so now I have a question about that then.
Yes.
So is someone who you would call a daddy typically the same as, would they also be a dom, or is it possible to be submissive but a daddy? Is that possible, or are they kind of interlocked, like in terms of?
Well, you can be a daddy and be submissive. They call it a switch. Now, typically the submission, if you're a daddy, then the submission comes during playtime, which is actual BDSM when you're breaking out your toys and your tools. So you can still experience what it's like to be on what we refer to as the bottom. You can experience that, but when that particular playtime is done, then you can move into that nurturing role. You can go back into that portion of your relationship that allows you to take care of the person that's just beat the hell out of you.
Yeah, there's a huge stigma that if you're a daddy or you present yourself as like masculine, that you have to be dominant, and that's definitely not something that is a rule, So
I like
you can
it.
definitely be a switch and be a daddy for sure.
And
That's good to
typically that dom and sub, when there's two of those types of behaviors or personality types in the BDSM world, it's called a switch. So they can move between either either
rounds.
role.
But that actually brings me into the next question, which was how did you two, and you can say separately or together if you want, how did you guys get into BDSM and dom and sub coupling? I guess if that's the word.
Well, I've been practicing BDSM for 30 plus years as a practitioner. I've been working on the education portion, the official education portion, for about 12 years. So I've had the opportunity to learn from mistakes, practical experiences, and transfer that into an educational type of education.
So I think like the fact that we met at Fetish Factory, that it was already a BDSM environment, it kind of was like a natural thing for us to get in that dynamic. Watching him dom and play, and it would just interest in me. Like I wanted to feel those things. I wanted to bend over in front of him. I wanted to experience these things. So naturally, it's kind of how we like connected. I actually found my power as a dom through my submission. So that didn't come till later. Even though before I gifted submission, I was a very much dominant woman. Like I was like, nah, your daddy who? Like who? I was very not about that. But naturally, I did in that world. I became his submissive, and it was very natural. When you see somebody that's so secure about themselves, they're so confident, and they're playing in ways and making people feel beautiful, like in so many levels, you just want a piece of that, So like that's just I think how naturally we bonded.
Amazing.
As
That's
a dom.
beautiful.
And now we've been
beautiful. I love it.
together.
Thank you.
We've been married 8.5 years now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we've known each other for 10 years and married 8 years.
Nice.
Wow. Well, congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Heck yeah.
Thank you. It's
So,
definitely
quick
been a
question.
journey.
Before we head over to our first break, do you guys, I guess, live the scene 24/7, or do you have kind of like, okay, we're home, curtains down, everything's off, let's be regular people, and then you step out, and then you go back into your BDSM personas, or do you have personas, or is this you like 24/7?
It is a 24/7 relationship. However, one of the concepts that I'm working on, which is called the alters, is an understanding our different responsibilities for different people. I don't ask my baby girl to help me do something around the house, or she asks me. That's husband and wife. Daddy and baby girl are always behind the scenes during that, but there's husband and wife. We're business partners.
We're best
We're
friends.
best friends. So each one of those has a different role in our relationship.
So I would say at first when we got together, it was more BDSM, more dom sub dynamic. And then as our relationship grew and we got to know like all of ourselves, we understand that we have more relationships within the one. Like he was saying, we're best friends, we're business partners, we're husband and wife, dom sub, daddy, baby girl. Like there's so many
Layers to our relationship.
So so we definitely do go through all alters through the days or the weeks. So it's not just BDSM,
Excellent. Good. That's good to know. I always wonder sometimes, especially when couples have been doing this for so long, like, do you guys have an on or off switch, or does it just eventually fade into this is who we are day in, day out until one of us drops dead? You know what I mean?
Well, this so far has been absolutely interesting. However, we need to go ahead and run to break. So we're going to get even deeper into this because there's just so many. I have like 1,000 questions. So hopefully I can get to most of them. So you go on, you guys grab your drinks, grab your snacks. We will be back in just a few moments.
Welcome back to Brown Sugar Confessions here on Power 1017. We have amazing guest hosts, and we're going to get straight into it. I just have to make a couple of quick little announcements. First of all, we want to thank everyone for showing up and always supporting the broadcast and the show. Please go to our guest pages. We will have all of that stuff linked in our bio. Go like, share, support their information. We take our guests very seriously, and we want professionals here with us because we are so sick and tired of fake DOMs and
Mhm.
people getting hurt in this
That
lifestyle.
part.
We
That
want
part.
people to really express and learn the truth and be armed with consent and knowledge. So,
That's right.
if you're watching us on YouTube, awesome. Like and comment. Like help a girl out. Like help us out. If you're not listening to us and watching us on YouTube, you're probably on Power 1017 or Spotify. Well, guess what? Get over to YouTube. We look adorable. What are you doing? Stop it. Give us a like and a share. If you want more information about BDSM, your own sexual health, please reach out to Doc Val at Valerie@swancenter.com. That is VALERIE at SWANNCENTER.com. Again, that is Valerie@swancenter.com. If you want to do a confession and just confess to us, you can always reach out to us, and we'll even change your name if you like it. You can reach out to us at brownsugarconfessions@gmail.com. But let's get back into it. We want to talk more about the lifestyle. Why become a sub and why become a dom?
I would say, as a submissive, I feel like if you have certain blockages, certain fear, if you if you're somebody that you just need that extra push, that for whatever reasons that you can't do it on your own, but if you give that submission to somebody and they push you through those barriers, it's just kind of like a safe, like a
It is. It's a
like
safe
a way
space.
to help yourself through someone, and you're still getting to that goal. Even if you need somebody, that's okay. But knowing that maybe you just can't do it by yourself and you just need somebody to give you that extra push, I feel like that is one of the purest and like best ways to explain gifting your submission to someone.
Quite a bit of time, somebody who is or has an alpha personality, somebody who makes decisions all day long, they're always in control.
That's
They're
the other
always
part,
in
yeah.
charge. And sometimes we don't want to be in charge. Sometimes there's freedom in being told what to do. You don't have to make a decision. You don't have to ask any questions. You're not worried about your bills. You're not worried about the next step of the day. All you have to do is follow instructions.
Right.
And which would lead to the dom portion, which is your responsibility after you've discussed all of the things that a submissive, or some of the things that a submissive is trying to achieve. You use your understanding of BDSM and the dom and submission role. And she was saying that if she's afraid to do something as a daddy and a baby girl, believe it or not, she used to stutter and was scared to death to get on stage. So she said that when we used to play, or when I used to play, I used to get on the stage at these parties and exhibit BDSM as beautifully as I could. And so when we started together, she trusted that I would do the right thing by her. So I took her on stage and I began to allow her to display herself in an empowering and a strong way. So it was my responsibility to help her through a fear. And if she didn't make it through that fear, there's no shaming, there's no degradation. It's you're here, I'm here to catch you. And if you can't walk through that door, that's fine. We'll hold hands and walk together, or we'll just keep that door closed because it's not where you need to go right now.
So those are like different spectrums of gifting, like your submission, either through those fears or those blockages that you may have, or like he said, someone that's so powerful in their day-to-day lives that they're just looking to let go and stop and not make decisions and just do and feel free. So there's like different spectrums that, you know, that exist as far as being a sub and as well dom.
Yes.
Why become a dom?
Yes.
Were you going to ask me a question, Shanice?
I will ask after you answer this.
Why become a dom? For me, and for a lot of individuals, becoming a dominant, you are allowed to accept and display your own sense of power. You are using the person on the bottom to fulfill a need or a desire that you may have. However, as she said, that submission that they're offering you is a gift. They're trusting in you that you will stop when you're supposed to stop, that you will only take them to a certain window. And by being a dominant and playing when you're in a playing role, or if you're in a dominant role, it really is very satisfying watching somebody grow, watching somebody achieve, watching somebody go to the next level, and knowing that you had a purpose in taking them there. It's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful display it's a wonderful reward in accepting somebody else's power and turning it into your own power and then giving it back. It is cyclical. So it's a complete cycle. I get and give, and she receives it and gives back.
As a sub and a dom, can you give us things? We spoke about it when we were entering back into the segment, fake doms, uneducated subs. Can you give us just a couple of tips to look for when people are, and I say don't even look for a sub or a dom if you're not even educated and you haven't met a real couple, sub and dom couple that can help you navigate and can guide and teach you. Are there things that you look for as a dom? Are there things that you look for as a sub? And what would your red flags be?
I would say, as a submissive, when you meet a dom and someone that calls himself master, sir, this, and then you ask for references, or references, and then they don't want to give you those references, that's a total red flag. No dom should feel like they can't be, looked up, and do some research on them. If they feel offended because you're asking for that, that's a total red flag. Yes. Do not.
Another red flag for a dominant is when you meet this person and they require you to address them in such a way, like if I meet a sub and I begin to treat that person as if they're my submissive, we haven't interacted as human beings yet. And there's no way that I should be interacting with you. So if they come up and they say, respect my dominant, respect my power, you're submissive and I'm a dom, that is a huge red flag as well. For a dom, when you're meeting a submissive and the submissive says to you, I don't have any limits, that is that's the face I usually make. And then I come up with something that's very extreme and we find out that you do have limits.
There is limits.
So there are limits that you're willing to do.
Yes.
And a lot of the times it's unfortunate because the submissive is usually in the community, if they're new, they don't really know what a dom looks like because they haven't done any education. So quite often, as in life, they fall prey to these other people who have read a book and think that they're dominants now, or they're watching, they're watching some program on TV and they're mimicking some behaviors that they've seen without any actual education. And unfortunately, people they buy in because that's also where they got their education. They saw a TV show, or
they read one book.
They read one book, and that's it. So huge red flag.
I have to say, some of my friends read, what was that book? It was like 50 Shades of Blue.
Shades of Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were just like, yeah. And I was like, is that what you really think it is? And they were just like, yeah. And I was like, like my face throughout the whole conversation. Do you offer mentorship paid? Like, can people like pay you to teach them and like all of that?
Yes.
We have a complete program. We sit with you. You contact us for a consultation, and we go through a series of questions, and we spend time with you via Zoom or in person, and we talk about what it is that you want to accomplish, and not just technically, but emotionally. And from that point on, we start to develop an individual program for that particular person. So it usually begins with answering questions, and then based on those answers, we move through series of behaviors, such as I want to learn how to spank some, or be spanked, or receive spanking, or give a spanking.
How to get in the headspace, the science behind it, and all that good stuff. We even can vet somebody for you. If you meet somebody and you're not sure about them, you bring them to us and we'll vet them for you.
Yes, to see if they're a safe, responsible player.
So there's different ways to get our knowledge, our experience, and our energy, through classes and even parties. If you guys host any parties and would like us to come out and host you and show you what we do in a party setting, we can also do that.
She actually is mentoring an individual right now. We currently just signed their contract for mentorship.
That's amazing. One, I just have to say thank you for even saying that this is an option. This is amazing. We're going to switch gears really quickly because we got to run through the rest of the show. This is going to become a 2-part show.
Yeah.
So, Miss T wants to know, can you take us through a night at one of your shows? Like, what does it entail? What do you do?
One of our shows. It's a whole spectrum. So we have like super private elite groups where it's small and very, intimate setting. And we also do grand things like resort takeovers or mansion parties. We have performers, our DJs. Like we completely immerse all your senses. So from the music to all of our impromptu scenes that you can see while you're enjoying your drinks with your friends. We have freak shows that go on. We have classes, seminars.
You folks just had Sir Nadi and Hummingbird on, and they are Carnivale Risque's official rope experts and rope ties. And we were talking about different dom types, and I am not good at rope. It's good to admit the things that you're just not good at. And I really don't have the desire to get good at it. So Sir Nadi is actually her rope top. So he's the only individual that I will let tie her.
So we have him around the parties, tying, doing demos.
And the suspensions. So he's a part of the entertainment as well as the education, because he also gives his own classes, as you folks know. So at a party, let's see, a typical party, we arrive in our outfits. Bam, here we are, spikes and melons. We then walk around the event, and we really host people. We really want them to become comfortable.
So because of the terrible stigma that BDSM has, that it's about torture and pain, and it's like this scary world, we really try our best to do a really good job to show people that it's not really that. It's about sensations. It's about letting go and having a good time and letting go of any judgment or any of that stuff and just have a good time and explore. So there's a lot of people that come to our events, you know, they see that we dress up and they like to dress up, but they don't necessarily know about the play side of things. So we go around and we like interact with you. We get you comfortable where, you know, you will allow us to spank you and flog you. And then right there, like that bulb will go off. Wow, this is fun. I could include this in my playtime.
Right, Miss T? And right, Miss T?
That's right.
That's right. So long
Include
as
it
you
in your
remember it.
playtime.
We also do this awesome dinner experience
Yes.
where we also show you BDSM, that it's not just about hitting people. So through the dinner, you know, we blindfold you, we feed you, we play with feathers and pinwheels and kind of give you an experience while you're eating with your partner and kind of show you how you can have fun with food, you know, and make it sexy,
Yeah,
make
we-
it kinky.
Show you how that even when you're and that's where, since I'm the scientist, I like to do that. If you have food and you take a bite of something, there is a texture and a taste and a scent and smell, and that's all part of that bite. If you put on a blindfold and wait a few minutes or a few seconds, all of a sudden your rest of your senses are trying to interpret what's going on because they can't see anymore. They get stronger. So now the food, the same exact bite of food, tastes different, tastes stronger. The smell becomes more intense. The texture takes on a different kind of texture. So just by exploring with something as simple as putting on a blindfold while your partner feeds you sensually is a wonderful evening of BDSM. We have our own chefs. We have gourmet chefs that are willing to come and prepare these meals for you, whatever you would like. We do a naked sushi where we do the same kind of experience, but we have,
What is the word? Naotaimori?
yes, Naotaimori.
Naotaimori? Damn, I totally butchered that word. But you know what they do, the naked sushi?
So
We do that, but like with fruits and other foods where it's like super nice, yummy, and sensual. So
Ooh.
there's
You guys
different ways
provide-
to experience BDSM without it being scary and painful, which is what we like to do. We like to show that it's not just about that.
That's
Right.
so
I
amazing.
really find that fascinating. Like
Mhm.
just the idea of adding all the other different aspects to it. So with with food, because I'm a Taurus and I love food. So can you take me a little bit more through that? Because I'm trying to immerse my brain into this experience of BDSM and
Really
food.
good.
well, for those that can see us, if I had something to eat, something very small, say just something on a fork. She's blindfolded. You stick your tongue out. You take the piece of food. You allow them to smell it. You tell them to inhale it deeply so they get a real deep sense of the smell. Then you just stick your tongue out or you brush their lips with it without actually giving it to them. So now that desire to put that in your mouth.
So it's like that teasing, getting
Like,
instruction
oh, you
on how to
dirty
eat it, how to
tease.
smell it. You know,
Yes.
it's just get involved,
Yes.
get dirty with
Get
it.
your senses involved with it.
I love that. Katie, do you have
Yeah,
any
so
questions?
we have a question that came in through the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. One of the questions that was asked is, doesn't this lifestyle glorify codependency and the suppression of the individual?
Ooh, that's deep.
No, this lifestyle expands the individual. That's,
If it's done correctly, of
yes.
course.
Well, yes, we're always talking about safe, sane, and consensual.
If it's done correctly, absolutely not. Like the people that we have encountered and mentored or been our personal submissives, they have all been empowered. They're now more confident. They're willing to go out in the world and they're just, so when you do things out of love and with care, it's definitely no
Yeah, it does not stifle you as an individual
At all.
on any level. We were talking earlier about the dominance or daddy's role in helping a person cross through a threshold. So I'm pushing you through this threshold so that your life becomes more full and more rich. And even by you receiving that fullness enrichment, you get to share that with me as your dom. So my life also becomes much more full and enriched.
It's just sadly that there's a lot of people out there that they read that one book or they saw the one movie and then they're practicing this lifestyle completely wrong. And then you will find those people that are just oppressed, and
Yes.
abused, and they find they get dependent and all the bad things.
But that's like any relationship that you see. It's not, your relationship is not treated with love, and it's treated with, dominance. Well, it's not even dominance. It's what is the word?
Abuse.
Abuse. There you go. If somebody is stifling your life, it doesn't have to be in BDSM. There's a lot of relationships out there, regular vanilla relationships, where one individual is stifling the other.
Excellent. So we are almost at time, but I'm going to ask maybe 1 to 2 more questions depending on how long it takes to go through each of them. Can you tell us about? So we all know now that you are working on your PhD, Tank, and can you tell us about it? And is it related? Are you tying this into the work that you do?
Yes. What I'm working on right now, just a quick backstory, is when I got out of the service, I was having a very difficult time adjusting to regular life. And PTSD is a neurological response to the trauma that you received, not just soldier trauma. It can be any kind of trauma. Anybody who has PTSD on any level, from anything, childhood, car wrecks, whatever it may be. And how those neurological responses are different for every person. However, in BDSM, you can create different kinds of neurological responses by stimulating certain chemicals in your body. So when you are participating in a particular event, let's just take a spanking, which Trees can tell you, you're releasing these chemicals which are equivalent to orgasm. So somebody who has PTSD, we're always in our heads. We're afraid of something, or we're scared of something. We have anxiety. We're on 100 miles an hour, and typically we're not present. We're somewhere else because we're hyper aware. We're afraid of something that may happen. So you have to be in the moment when you're participating in BDSM. Dopamine, which is it's the main chemical in what's called the flow, neurologically, that keeps the person on top, very centered and focused on what they're doing for the person on the bottom. And the person on the bottom, for whatever sensation they're receiving, that releases a certain number of chemicals as well, which requires you to stay in the moment. So by participating in these events, you are dragging yourself and somebody into a moment. So now I'm out of my head. My anxiety is gone. It doesn't fix anything, but it does assist.
It's a form of therapy.
It's a form of therapy, as you know. It is a very cathartic experience. And that chemical change can help you for days.
And BDSM has, as he said in the past, it saved his life.
It really has. And maybe the lives of others.
So he's very passionate. So he's very passionate about helping others with PTSD, find that therapy moment, like that moment of clarity, the moment of like, okay, if I do this, I'm not in my head.
For a subspace, you're everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And for dominance, we have the same kind of experience. Dom space, we're right here focused on this individual thing, and I can take care of this without having to take care of this. So it's a very cathartic response.
All right, and we have one more question. When is your candidacy? When are you complete your program?
Well, I had to take some time off, not just COVID, but there's a lot of changes to our personal lives and our business. So I am returning to school, thank goodness, at the beginning of 2024. So I'm hoping to be done in about 14 months.
Congratulations. Yes.
It's Dr. Tank.
Dr.
Then
Tank. Well, that's
Dr.
us.
Tank.
Well, we have to unfortunately end the show. It's time up. We do want to say thank you both for answering all our questions and being just so open and honest with us. It is rare, rare to meet people like you. And we want to thank you from the bottom of our heart. We want to say thank you to all the listening audience, but mostly we want to say, Doc Val, we miss you and we love you.
We
Come
do.
back.
We
We
do.
Come
gotta
back
do
home,
another one when we
mom.
get to talk to her.
Yes, I think we should. I think when she gets done with everything, I think we should all come back and do this again because I feel like it would be
Yes.
hilarious. Um,
Yes.
but we want to tell everyone, and we want to say the same thing we always say at the end of the show: stay safe and play safe. We'll see you next week.
Thank
Bye.
you
Thank
so much for having
you.
us.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Brown Sugar Confessions on Power 1017. Go to our Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram page at Brown Sugar Confessions to like, share, and follow. Stay safe and play safe. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.